The kingdom of the gods is open to all who genuinely seek entrance for the good of humanity. With spiritual integrity, we know ourselves to be children of the light, and we play in this garden of paradise. Soon enough, we recognize ourselves as part of a universal family, guided and held by the forces of evolution. Each individual is seen and known as an expression of divinity, each an important mathematical number in the cosmic equation. In due time, we will each be called to the steps of the proverbial mystery school, governed as it is by the tenets of resonance, creativity, discipline, and truth. The esoteric mystery school is founded upon the 3 steps of the self-realization. You will know a mystery school by this distinction. Its teachers are students of the life and death and rebirth. The information given is and has always been precise knowledge, showing us the path and where it is taking us, back home to the embodiment of light. The mystery school is genuinely universal, expressing the essence of unity, embracing the wisdom that all is one. When we choose to walk up the steps and into the mystery school, we will pass through the 4 pillars of mystery, art, philosophy, and science. The entrance to a mystery school opens as we carry ourselves in love, wisdom, and integrity. The masters recognize the merit of the heart and invite us into the teachings of the higher dimensions. As we approach this open gateway into the ageless wisdom, we gain entry into the essence of divine knowingness, which is found within the temple of the heart. From our internal connection with Source, we work. With our purified and dedicated energy, we can help ourselves and one another open invisible doors and windows to the divine. We are, each of us, student and teacher, seeker and that which is sought. The masters guide us along our chosen path to the center of divine knowingness. We all meet one another at the center. We greet our brothers and sisters within the mystery school of creation. Together, we rise. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Sharon and Esther, Debbie, Adele, Vicky, Yvonne, JGB. J stands for something. Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. Cosmic Sun, Resplendent Mind. I'm Dianné Aldrich. Any of you here with me last month for Sacred Water Sensual Life? Just throw up in the chat there a yes or a no, or maybe you saw the recording. There was a thumbs up there. Yvonne, yes, and Debbie also. Great. Watch the recording. Beautiful. Well, thank you for joining me again. Last month we were diving deeply, if you will, into water, and this month we're going to commune with the fire. or the sun, or the essence of light. So we're moving into a new element, the element of our mind, of our intellect, our clarity, our wisdom. And I have lots to share on that. Let me know where you're coming in from. I'm going to share my screen and bring up a few slides that might be helpful visually as we go along. I will likely jump in and out a little bit of the screen sharing. So bring this down. Beautiful. So in my description, I referred to the mystery school, and specifically the ancient esoteric mystery school. And we know that mystery schools have existed for as long as humans have been using their mind and their intellect and their emotions and the spirituality to seek a source that is somehow moving this expression of life, trying to find a way to understand or comprehend from where we come, but also to where we're going. What is this evolutionary path that we seem to be on as a human species, but also as a planetary experiment, if you will? And so the human mind, the human intellect has very naturally been drawn to curiosity, and to trying to answer some fundamental and deep and complex questions. And those answers have throughout time been found within the mystery school. The ancient mystery school, we are told, has been closed at this time, but has recently been starting to reawaken. And the vibration on the planet, as it increases in light and in love, those doors to the ancient mystery school will again reopen. I want to introduce you to my beloved teacher. So a thought on the mystery school, and particularly the Vibrant Love Mystery School that my teacher and I co-host. It's a place for insightful, provocative, open-minded exploration into the ageless wisdom. And so my request is always open your mind, open your heart, just be receptive. Those things that resonate, that corroborate with what you have already learned or experienced in your life path, dig deeply into those concepts that might be new to you. Ask questions, research, experiment with some of the meditations and ideas presented, and come to know, my teacher says, that to believe or not to believe is of the same vibration, but to know, that is a higher level of experience. So what we want to do is we want to know the mystery. We want to know God. We want to know source. We want to come into direct communion with the higher knowledge through our intellect, through our intellectual life. And so a few ways that we're going to be moving through that concept tonight are these 5 aspects, which I also put into your description. And we'll come back to these as we go. But I'd like for us to think about expanding our mind.
We can't see the share. Oh, now we can see, just for a second. Thank you. Yeah.
Good.
It's back out.
Okay, good. So in this Month for Life book of intellect,
I'm sorry, we can't see the screen.
You can't.
It keeps flickering on and off.
Is that true for others? Give me a thumbs up. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that is not happening on my screen. Let me stop the share and then we'll go back in and try again. Let's try that.
We can just see your mouse.
That's not helpful. Okay, thank you for telling me. Go back and see if this is better. Can you see my screen now? Yes, you can. Okay. If I make it bigger, can you still see it? Still see it, Debbie? Not so much? Now it's flipped. All right, so I think I cannot be on my full screen, but you can see here. All right, you'll just see my slides on the side. Very good. Okay, so we just have this agenda for the night. Working this month, we all are in this Life Book, beautiful platform that we're in, all working to expand our mind in February for intellectual life, but also expanding our mind so that we can clarify our life vision, not only for our life, and would be the teaching at the core of the mystery school, but expanding our life vision for the greatest good, for the vision of our entire planetary and also cosmic experience, not only in our lifetime, but in the lifetime of many generations yet to come. And then also tonight, learning how to weave some of this ancient wisdom that I'm going to share with you into your contemporary life, as has always been the way in the mystery school. As the teachers, the messiahs, the prophets, the wisdom keepers, the medicine men and women, the elders have come to share and teach with us throughout time. It has always been in the context of their culture, their language, their aesthetic, but also the readiness of those who are hearing the message. And so at different points of time, different ages, the message has been presented in a way that was most easily accessible for the evolution, the place that the intellect was able to receive and comprehend. So tonight I'm going to give you some background context, but then I want to really bring you into a practice that will help you commune with this essence of the cosmic sun and bring your own mind into a place of resplendent, radiant light, receptive to wisdom. So what I would like to hear, let's just go around briefly. You can speak to one or each of these, what called you here tonight, what sparked your interest, and what do you really, really want to know? Because I'd also like to direct and shape tonight's presentation based on what you're really here for. What did you see in the picture or read in the description that really drew you to be here with me tonight? So I'm just going to call you up, unmute yourself. Let's start with Adele.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I was actually, I'll just put my video on really quick. I am in my evening pajama wear. I just was really interested in the topic. I know that my sister-in-law actually moved to Mexico. She is very familiar with this process, has been a world traveler because of this process, and again, is currently in Mexico. So she talks about Machu Picchu all the time, and I'm open for learning today.
Beautiful. Thank you, Adele. Welcome. Yeah, so one of the beautiful things that we've learned, this draw to Machu Picchu, to Central America, South America, the Andean Mountains, that entire range of Apu, which is the spirit name of the mountain. The masculine energy, if you will, or the very yang nature of the Himalayan mountains. And for many, many decades, the people were drawn to India, to Tibet, to the teachings of China. And in this new age of Aquarius, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later, which came into being on February 4th of 1962, the shift of the Piscean age, which held a more yang, more masculine energy, shifted to the feminine, the energy of the yin, of the receptive. And it's the yin energy or the feminine energy that is vibrating currently in the Andean Mountains of South and Central America. So there's been a huge draw in the past decade for sure, really 2 decades, to South America, and in particular to Machu Picchu, and to the sacred sites in Mexico. So Adele, your sister is feeling the pull that so many of us are, and it's wonderful to have you here tonight. Debbie, if you would unmute yourself, what brings you tonight?
Hi, yeah. So Machu Picchu, I've wanted to go to for a really long time. I read a Shirley MacLaine book a really long time ago for about Out on a Limb, where she had gone to Machu Picchu, and a lot of books that I had read, and so I always wanted to go. So I'm actually planning my trip for next year. So that's in the works. Mexico, I also fell in love with. I stepped into Mexico one time for a 2-week vacation, and I ended up going back there for 6 months. So the smell of the place felt like home. That's all I can say. I don't know what it was. It was instant. I loved the smell, and I can still think of it when I talk about it, like the smell of Mexico. I don't know what it was. So, but yeah. So anything along those topics are very interesting to me. So
Fantastic. I am so excited for you to go to Peru and to Machu Picchu. I have been many times, as you'll learn more tonight. My teacher is there. I will, if you are interested, guide you to him.
absolutely.
Yes. I'll also be taking a group next September 2025. So I'm not sure when your timing is or if we would overlap, but that would be really delightful. I had an incredible, which I don't have time to go into tonight, but when I first arrived at Machu Picchu, just tears, and I felt like I had come home. And I didn't know anything about Machu Picchu at the time, and this was nearly 25 years ago. And so I can feel that. I know that feeling, and
That's
it's
exactly how I felt in Mexico. Like it was, I've been here before and I knew nothing of it. We went on a 2-week vacation and I was like, I have to come back. I cried leaving because I had to go back. So I didn't want to leave. Yeah.
wonderful. Well, you're in the right place, and I'll try to help you navigate as best I can and introduce you also to Uluru so you have the most impeccable guide
Awesome.
while you're there at Machu Picchu. You'll see as we go.
Okay. Yay.
Yay, Debbie. Thanks for being here. Sharon, please come on up, unmute yourself.
Hi. I had no idea that Machu Picchu was sacred in a way of the mystery schools. I didn't know it was associated with that. And the first time I ever heard that term mystery school was on a podcast, Next Level Soul. They were interviewing someone who was channeling either Mary Magdalene or Mother Mary, and they spoke of the mystery schools, which was they took part in, I guess, thousands of years ago. But anyway, so I thought, oh, what's a mystery school? And then it kept popping up. It was on an international seminar, the Irvin Laszlo one.
Mm.
And somebody in one of my little groups, there was a tiny group and we were going to be chatting. And this woman from the UK said she was highly involved in a mystery school. And I'm like, what? Like what, why, where, what? And then I said, I was just looking it up online and I saw the Modern Mystery School, and they have that in different countries. And I'm like, have I never heard of it before? I'm all just hearing about it this week, essentially. Yeah. And then it popped up on my screen and I saw it while I was eating dinner. And I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. Yeah. And I just did life books. So.
Oh, welcome. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, wow. You're certainly in the right place. Serendipity and
Kind of fun.
divine intervention and all of these beautiful things. So welcome. The mystery school is really just coming now back into mass consciousness.
Oh.
And I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about the distinction of a mystery school, so that as you go out to seek a mystery school, you'll know some of the foundational tenets of a mystery school, and you'll be able to weed out mystery schools that are really connected to the ancient esoteric teachings and those that may not be so much. Of course, we know there's, beautiful multiplicity of thoughts and ideas and concepts. In the ancient esoteric mystery school, there are 3 steps by which we can really recognize a mystery school. And if those 3 keys or those 3 steps aren't present, still a beautiful platform for sharing spiritual knowledge, but not yet quite a mystery school. So it'll be interesting for you to learn what those are, and then have an eye out for that.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I want to learn more.
Great, beautiful. Welcome. All right, Esther, I'll ask you to unmute.
Yes, I don't look so presentable tonight, so I'm hiding.
You look beautiful to me.
Oh, well, thank
Welcome.
you. So nice. Yeah, I have to learn to be so positive. No, I'm tired today. Just Machu Picchu just was interesting, and I like to know what's going on, kind of be up to date. I'm not going to join a mystery school, I'm sure of that, but I like to, know where people are, what's going on, learn something, kind
Yes,
of. Yeah.
beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful. There is this specificity of the mystery school I was referring to, and then there's also this knowing that we are part of a cosmic mystery school every moment, moment by moment. And Lifebook is a form of mystery school for sure. And John and Missy, either knowingly or unknowingly, have definitely tapped into the 3 keys or the 3 steps that I'm going to share tonight. And as long as those three puzzle pieces are present in some way or another, it's a beautiful expression of how we can lean into our own
There's
evolution.
oneness, I would say, I believe in oneness.
Yeah,
So it all kind of, if it's positive, it feeds into each other, right?
absolutely. The essence, the mystery school teaches really that the essence of, from all the teachers, the synthesis is the essence of all teachings, traditions throughout time. All the great teachers have taught the same: wisdom, love, creativity, sacred power. So beautiful. Welcome. It's so good to have you here tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh. JGB is up next on my screen. I'll ask you to unmute. Welcome. JGB, are you with us? You can unmute. Okay, let's move on then to Jude. Jude, would you like to unmute?
Hi.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. What brings you is the question if
you.
you jumped in late.
So I have been doing a lot of kind of, well, trying to go on a deeper journey, and started Lifebook and all that, and I've done some mushrooms. So I feel like that's explanation enough.
Sure.
Just that, like,
You're open. You're experimenting. You're
it's
ready
just
to
like,
receive.
yeah, I don't know, the mushrooms made this pop up on my screen. I'm here. I'm just here to listen and learn. It kind of called to me. I'm trying to do what the mushrooms say. It tends to go well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Medicine is powerful. The mushroom, the peyote, the ayahuasca, the sage.
It really gets you in
water,
touch with
the
your
sun.
own inner compass,
It does.
is what I'm finding.
You can.
So yeah, my sister did go to. I also had a sister who went to Machu Picchu. She did not rave about it, but she did not want to go home either. So
Ah, yeah. Yes. Yeah, there's a deepening there that happens quite naturally. And many people don't know why they're drawn. Many believe themselves to be tourists, and yet they're resonating with something quite ancient that
Yeah.
is awakening their memory and they're remembering. Beautiful. Well, Jude, thank you for being here and for
Thank
trusting.
you. I'm really excited to learn.
Good. Beautiful. Ask some questions later as we move along if you have any. Okay. Vicky, have we heard from Vicky? Hi, welcome. Go ahead and unmute yourself there if you can.
There we go. I have been intrigued with mystery schools and about mystery schools for many, many years.
Mm.
And I would say that a long time ago, I was traveling Central and South America. And I arrived at Machu Picchu. And it was the first time I heard my spirit voice. And it was the first time that I discovered the feeling that I had been there before, that I had lived in Machu Picchu. And in a way, that started me on a metaphysical journey. I have traveled to many places in the world, to sacred sites, Egypt a couple of times on 2 metaphysical journeys, which was absolutely amazing, to Mexico, to the UK, to the States, to many places. It's as though it's now a part of my DNA, and it's a part of who I am. And listening to you and seeing what you have to say is a continuing for my journey.
Beautiful. Thank you for bringing all that experience here for us tonight. These sacred pilgrimages, it's so essential as we awaken in our consciousness to visit in the physical body, if we can, whenever we can, these ancient sacred sites, many of which were absolutely mystery schools. The pyramids of Egypt being one of them, Machu Picchu being another, and on we can go. Serpent Mound in Ohio, one of the biggest effigy mounds in the form of a serpent. Just the vibration there is phenomenal. So thank you for taking that journey for yourself, but on behalf of all of us, we know that as each one of us raises our own individual vibration, we raise the vibration of the whole, and we act as a harmonization to the denser vibrations that are creating the overwhelm and the chaos and the fear and the hate and the war that our planet is currently experiencing and has experienced throughout the ages. So blessings to all of you for being here and for the journeys that you've been on and the continued journey. It gives great hope and great light to the generations, our daughters and sons and granddaughters and grandsons and nieces and nephews and the children that are coming. They need us to blaze the trail. And part of blazing that trail is normalizing this conversation of a sacred path or the interest in a mystery school or taking time in the life to pilgrimage to sacred sites rather than the commercialization of vacations, of which we also need to go and enjoy and play in the life. And yet to take those journeys back home to source really sets a precedent for what's to come for our entire human species. So really beautiful that you've done that work, Vicky. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And let's give JGB one more try. I'll ask you to unmute if you'd like to join us. Or
She left a message in the chat, or he.
I see.
She. Yeah.
Yes, let me read that. Hi. What got me here was just curiosity. Everything is new to me here. I will be here to listen only. I'm alone at work and I will be in and out of the office. I have to get back to a service call right now. I'll be back as soon as I can. Thank you, Diana. You're welcome. Wonderful. Thanks for letting us know. And thank you for pointing that out to me, whoever pointed that out. And Debbie said, I unfortunately have to go drive my son, but I will catch on the recording and we'll send a message. Thanks, Debbie. Thank you. She said this feels so right. And Sharon, mystery schools have been coming up in my life this past week. You shared, this is the third time. I love it. I have a similar story. Open to learning, beautiful. Okay, let's dig in. I'm going to share my screen again and let's continue here. So the first point I want to touch on tonight, profound teachings from the ancient mystery schools can guide our way into a deep comprehension of eternal truth. And one of the things that means is that in order to receive profound teachings, we must arrive as a student. And my teacher calls this way of being to be a student of the life, really to be a student of the life, the death, and the rebirth. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about what that means practically. I'm not speaking about the death of this body into the afterlife, although that is part, certainly, of our journey. So the teachings of the mystery school indeed are profound, and they point to eternal truths or universal laws, those that precise knowledge that doesn't change. It may expand because the universe is expanding, but the fundamental universal laws, of which we are bound to 48 of those universal laws in this third dimensional experience on planet Earth, in this third dimensional body. In the higher dimensions, there are less laws to which we are bound, but those laws are more refined. In the lower dimensions, in the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, there are more laws to which we are bound. It creates a denser experience. We know ourselves in comparison to a mineral or to a stone or to a rock to be not as dense in composition. And that is because the universal laws to which that element is bound are many, 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 many more. So we have this beautiful ability to be spacious, to be more spacious than our animal, plant, and mineral brothers and sisters. And in that spaciousness, there's room to receive wisdom and guidance and the vibrations of a higher dimension. So I'd like to introduce you to my teacher, Wiragocha. He's an Inca Chasqui. A Chasqui is a spiritual messenger in the tradition of the Inca, a spiritual messenger of the sun. He is Quechua. He was born and raised in a very small community in the Andean mountains of Peru. His story is really a glorious one. He has been a seeker his entire life. He became a shaman and was a shaman. You can see in the upper left corner as a young man. But in meditation, in the Amazon jungle near a cave, he was visited by a fourth dimensional master that came out of the cave from the inner golden or emerald cities of the ancient mystery school, and spoke to him directly to his heart and asked him, or really directed him, I should say, to go and take the messages of the Great White Lodge, or you might say of the ascended masters or the enlightened ones, the enlightened beings, by whatever language resonates best with you, to take the essence of those mystery school teachings, the three keys that I've been referring to, out to humanity. So he laid down his robes as a shaman to travel as a sun messenger and deliver these teachings to our contemporary world. And he's traveled the world. I've had the great privilege of facilitating him since 2001 in the United States and in Canada. So he's traveled here many times, and I've also taken groups down, of course, to Peru and to Machu Picchu to work with him. And so I'd like you to know him, know who he is. If you are called to Peru, I'm happy to introduce you to him. I'm happy to take you to him. But to know my lineage and to know his lineage gives some context to the teachings that I'm going to share with you more deeply this evening. The synthesis of the esoteric science was known and taught in the mystery schools of Machu Picchu and Egypt and many and Tibet, many mystery schools around the world. I've touched on that already. So we're going to drop into a few of those thoughts. The Inca solar culture of the gods. The first place I'd like to draw our attention tonight is to the solar culture. What does that mean? We know that the ancient Mexican culture is a solar culture. The Inca culture was a solar culture. The Egyptian culture was a solar culture. By that source, that name of source, Ra or Wiragocha, Inti, these are all names for the source, the one central cosmic sun, from which light flows, from which wisdom flows, from which the universal mass consciousness can tap in to those eternal truths that I've been referring to. And so it's good to understand the difference between the archaeological understanding of a sun culture and the esoteric understanding of a sun culture. These cultures didn't worship our sun, the sun of our solar system that gives heat and light to our planet Earth. But that sun was absolutely a symbol, a living spirit, a living representation from which we all come, which is the great central sun, or the source of light, which is a vibration. We know that light is vibration, is energy. We know that Nikola Tesla said that everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. And the ancient cultures within the mystery school understood that this experience that we're having was based in energy, was based in light, based by extension in the trinity of light, which is wisdom, love, and creativity, which as a trinity creates a sacred power that we can access, that as a conduit, that sacred power moves through us and we create from the essence of that sacred power. We know that when we create with wisdom, if there's no love, it doesn't have the same power. If we create in love with the absence of wisdom, again, it doesn't have the complete power. So this trinity of wisdom, love, and creative sacred power is what we'll begin to understand is part of the essence of a mystery school. Again, wisdom or knowledge or intellect or facts or science without love is incomplete. Love, romance, heartfelt expression without the counterpart of wisdom is yet incomplete. But when we have the wisdom and the love, or the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, the dynamic active and the receptive in harmony, we then can create from a place of pure power. And so this is the essence of the communion or the connection that we make as students or disciples or initiates of the mystery school. We understand ourselves to embody wisdom and also love. And it's from that place that we both learn and create in the world. So the Inca solar culture of the gods, I'm gonna bounce here to show you the Inca cross, or the Chicana, it's called. And when you go to Peru, and if you've been to Peru, you'll see this Chicana in the architecture, in the jewelry, in the altars throughout these sacred sites. You'll see it in artwork. You'll see it in temples. You'll see it in the secular world in Peru, but also in the sacred world of Peru. And if you were to cut this Inca cross in half, straight through the middle, you'll see that there are 3 steps that ascend and 3 steps that descend. And if I take you back here, you'll see right in the middle where that number 3 is, you'll see these 3 ascending steps. And when I refer to these 3 keys, or the 3 steps to the self-realization by which we can identify a mystery school, those 3 steps are the first, which is to recognize and work on our own personality, our ego, if you will, that which comprises our third dimensional being on the level of our mind, our emotions, our energy, and our physical body. And through these four levels of our personality, our ego works. There's a negative side to our ego, which is ignited through our fear at the core. And from fear, anger can come, or envy or pride. Over here, we see the seven egos, also known as the seven deadly sins. And these are represented, we see these represented throughout the Inca culture by various symbols or animals. And I won't go into great detail because there's more pieces I want to get to. But the first step is to really identify the energy that we are bringing through these mental and emotional states to our inner and outer world, and to purify them and transform, our anger into perhaps tolerance and generosity, our envy into inspiration, our gluttony into graciousness, and so on and so forth. So the first step, the first work that we do within a mystery school is on our own self. In the second step, represented by the two chalices here, we're working, in fact, with our sexual energy. And I'll be talking about this more once we get into the relationship month coming up in a few months from now. But in the ancient cultures, it's known as Kundalini. It's known as the search for the Holy Grail. It's known as our creative life force in Qigong. It's known as prana by the yogis of India. And so in the second step, we learn to work with our pure energy that is connected to the universal life force, or the source of all energy. And that moves through our sexual energy, not speaking necessarily about the union sexually, although that is definitely part of it, but that energy in us, which is a creative energy. We know that sex creates life. Our creative internal energy creates the entire life that we live. And this is the beautiful thing about creating our life vision, is to recognize that it's our creative life force coupled with our mind and our intellect and our emotion and our desire and our wants and our needs, that this beautiful life vision that we've all created in Life Book is unfolding. Within the mystery school, the distinction is that we would create that life vision purely from our sacred spiritual essence, or from the vibration of our soul, and recognize the part of the life vision that is being created by the desires of our ego or our personality. And we would work to diminish the personality ego and try to create our life vision purely from the essence of our soul, because it's the soul vision that will work toward the greatest good of all, the most benevolent outcome for all, whether that be our family and our children, or the plants and animals, the earth, or the entire universe. Then in the third step, once we've worked with ourselves, once we've worked with our creative energy in coupleship with our beloved, with our partner, and that does not necessarily mean that we're in coupleship, but we know that when we get around a collaborator or a parent or a child or a sister, someone who's close to us, it's those who are most intimate in our life that can trigger that which is most brilliant and creative in us, but also that which is most challenging and dark in us. And so in the second step, we can continue to refine our self-expression. Once we've moved through that first and second step, then in the third step, we can take that expression, that creativity that's moving from our soul into our soul purpose out into the world. And we do that with unconditional love. We do that in the spirit of unconditional service to our brothers and sisters around the world, regardless of background or gender or creed or belief. We begin to understand, as one of you mentioned earlier, that we're indeed one sacred family, one essence. From the source, from the great central sun, we all come, and to that same central source, we will all return. And if we can help one another in some way in that journey, in our return home, then we have contributed a beautiful vibration to the evolving and awakening consciousness of humanity. And so these are the three keys by which a mystery school is known. And prior to those three keys, there's a preparatory step, and that preparation I'm going to really share deeply with you tonight. And then, as I said, in the coming months, next month, we're going to talk more about the first step. And as the months unfold, I'm going to go deeper and deeper into each of these steps. The Uku Pacha, Kai Pacha, and Hanan Pacha, those are Inca words, Quechua terms for states of consciousness, but also the state of these dimensions that I'm referring to. You see the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensions here. The underworld, or the 9 hells, are known as the Uku Pacha. Not hell in the Christian sense of hell, but in those denser vibrations. So we move from this third dimension of our human kingdom into the denser vibration of the animal kingdom, which has a lower consciousness on a spectrum. So some animals are quite conscious, and we work with those animals, whether they be trusted, loyal canine friends or horses. These animals, falcons, that we can work with and communicate with, all the way to those life forms that there's no ability for them to understand that themselves as a conscious being on the planet. Below the animal kingdom is the plant kingdom. Again, on a spectrum, we have plants that we work directly with. Jude was referring to the spirit of the mushroom, and depending on your culture and your background, you may work directly with the spirit of these plant essences, or you may not. And that is strictly based on your own personal path and that of your elders and your own teachers. And then denser still is the mineral kingdom. Again, on a spectrum, there are minerals that are healing, that we use for healing, that transfer incredible vibrations of healing. And then there are stones and rocks that are quite lovely and quite beautiful, but do not necessarily carry that higher vibration of moving as a conduit for energy. So on and deeper we can go into all of these teachings. Over here on the right side, we see this 3% to 100%. And what we're dedicated to in the mystery school, what we're here to do tonight, is simply to awaken our consciousness. From the 3%, give or take, they're numbers, not necessarily true. Or exact, I should say, numbers, but we all come into this life as humans with a certain degree of consciousness already awakened. We recognize ourselves as a being in our surroundings. And what the enlightened masters have done throughout time, Buddha, Krishna, Quetzalcoatl, Jesus, on and on, they've raised their consciousness from a 3% of awakened consciousness to 100% of awakened consciousness. And this is the call of the disciple of light. This is the call into the mystery school to just begin to take those first initial steps to awaken 4%, to 5%, 6%. The masters say, my teacher says, that if all of humanity, if every person on planet Earth right now would awaken their consciousness to just 10%, there would be no more war, no more hunger, no more poverty, no more hate. We would be, in fact, living in a very, very different reality. And so each one of us coming to these teachings tonight, or to the mystery school, be it a church or a synagogue or a forest or an ocean, when we bring ourselves into the place of receiving the higher teachings, we begin to awaken our consciousness. and the consciousness of the whole is thereby awakened. So again, my deep gratitude. Thank you for showing up, for being here, and your receptivity. Beautiful. So lots more to explore here. Let's move into, I'm just going to touch on this very briefly because I find that it's helpful to speak to the fear and the anxiety that many of us are having right now. We're in a climate of world war, of course. We can see that. We understand that. There's a lack of access to potable, clean water. There's hunger. There's poverty. There's tolerance and human rights issues around the globe. So we're in quite a trepidatious time right now. And what we also know, however, is that it is a cycle that we are moving through. It's a cycle that we have been through in the past, and is a cycle that we'll go through again in the future. And I'll go into this much deeper in the months to come, but there are 7 solar races that will inhabit this planet Earth. We began, if you will, in the first solar race of the androgynous race. We moved into the Hyperborean, then to the Lemurian, into the Atlantean. We're currently in the 5th solar race. And each solar race moves from the Golden Age into the Silver Age, into the Copper Age, and through the Iron Age. I stated earlier that previously we were in the Piscean Age. So the Piscean Age is the midway point of the Iron Age. It's the time of we're most densely populated on the planet Earth, which means we have the densest population of a lower vibration of consciousness or awakened consciousness on the planet at this time. We've moved into the Aquarian Age, which means that this dense, challenging vibration is going to become more intense. We can see that that's already happening. And yet we're moving toward this break between Aquarius and Capricorn, at which point comes always an earth cleansing. In the Christian theology, in the Christian mythology, that we can see that as Noah's Ark, a time of Noah's Ark. But if you go into any sacred tradition, into any sacred text, they all speak to an earth cleansing. And so we know that the Atlantean moved through the cleansing by water. We are told through Revelations that this 5th solar race will go through a cleansing of fire. And we see with the war and the fires and the heat and climate change that indeed those fires are here with us already. And so what's good to understand, however, is that this is a time of cleansing. And we don't have to identify this as a time of doom or Armageddon, if you will. The Armageddon is internal. The war is internal, and this outer expression of war that we find right now on the planet is an accumulation of all of the internal wars, all of the people who are internally at war. And as we purify our internal war, or the egos that I was speaking about earlier, we begin to purify and shine as that resplendent light, that radiant light, the pure essence of source, of wisdom and love that moves creativity with power. And as each of us do that, we find that we already begin to move into the golden age. We already begin to manifest heaven on earth. We already begin to dwell in the Garden of Paradise. I'd love to see how, John and Missy are, through their life book journey and their choices and their vision, creating what they have named. In fact, I've heard them speak to their heaven on earth there in the isolated island near Hawaii. So each of us have this opportunity to transform our inner world from the Iron Age into the Golden Age, and thereby moving humanity into the Golden Age in a really beautiful way. And the earth cleansings will continue to come. And within the Mystery School and the Mystery School teachings, we are shown It's called the Island of Exodus, or the Three Retreats. And when danger begins to come our way, we know that it's time to make a move, a shift, and retreat. That might be an inner retreat, deeper into our own wisdom and knowingness, or that might be a physical retreat. In the case of John and Missy, they moved from Chicago to an island to find and to create and empower their paradise. So this is where we are in the sidereal year currently of the 5th solar race. And again, there's lots more to reveal there. And then very briefly, I spoke a little bit about this already. We're in a process of both evolution and de-evolution, if you will, simultaneously. And we're moving through that. And I'm going to come back to this in months ahead, but I did touch on that. So when we awaken our consciousness, what I do want to speak to is as we awaken our consciousness, we begin to enter this kingdom of the gods, or God's kingdom, or this heaven, or this paradise, or this higher vibration, this higher frequency. We begin to live the light, I call it. And it's a beautiful place to be. It feels good in that higher dimension. And those of us who have traveled to these sacred sites, feeling that we were home and not wanting to leave, it's because we were resonating in this higher dimension. And all of our memory of how good and beautiful and sacred and resplendent and nourishing that vibration feels and is, it's very hard to leave it and return back into the dense physical vibration of the day-to-day life. But again, we can access it always through meditation. And so we can be there anytime in any moment. And I'm going to take us into a meditation tonight. So in this Iron Age that we're currently inhabiting, just check in with yourself for a moment. What are your biggest challenges right now? And if you would just share one in the chat, doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest or the most intimate, but what are some of your challenges? There are so many challenges around the world right now. And when we share these challenges, we begin to recognize that we are not alone. And this is the power also of the mystery school, when we come together in resonance as a sacred family, and we begin to share not only the vibration of light, but also these challenges of the Iron Age. We can recognize our own challenges and then learn how these challenges can be transformed or overcome. And we see this happening every month with Alex in the Q&A sessions with John and Missy. They're answering many challenges, many questions that we are all having. And so together, at the end of my video there, of my writing in the video, together we can rise. We can only rise in that way if we're sharing our wisdom, my wisdom, your wisdom, their wisdom, and also sharing our challenges. So if you'll share in the chat, I'll take a look at a few of those in a bit and speak to them. The cosmic sun is known by many names: Ra, Inti, Wiragocha, Christ consciousness. Again, I touched on that earlier. It's to understand that, again, from this one source we all come. It expresses itself in so many beautiful, diverse, inspiring ways on the planet currently, but also through time. And yet we'll all come back to this beautiful same source of light. And it's simple. It's a simple source. It's this source that is this trinity of light, of love, and creative power. And so if you were to read my writings or my teachings in my book, or that of the Bible, of Jesus the Christ, or of the Quran, or hear the teachings of my beloved teacher from the Inca tradition, we can begin to understand that the language, though the words are different, the essence of the teaching is the same. And in that way, we can drop any past history that we have with perhaps our own religious upbringing or our own confusion about other spiritual paths, and understand that in the end, we're all going to speak the same language and are speaking the same language. And that's a beautiful gift. So allow me, if you will, to take you into a beautiful little meditation and introduce you to your internal sun, your internal cosmic, radiant, resplendent mind, known also as your internal father or your internal son, who is also working in resonance with your internal love or your internal fires or your internal mother of compassion and intuition, who are working simultaneously with your internal creative life force, your internal power. So if you would close your eyes and allow yourself to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And just take a moment by way of preparation to release any tension you might experience in your body in this moment. Using the exhale to release any tension from your scalp, from your eyes, behind your eyes. Exhale, release tension from your jaw, from your tongue, your palate. As you exhale, releasing tension from your chest, from your heart center, relaxing your shoulders, softening the muscles of your back and your belly. As your belly softens, breathe into your belly. Feel your belly expand on your inhale and gently contract on your exhale. As you exhale and release, feel the weight of your pelvis deepening into your chair, into your cushion, into your sofa. Feel your legs heavy like weights, your feet grounded, rooting into the earth. As you exhale, take this moment to just let go. Let go of physical pain, physical tension, but also emotional pain, emotional tension, grief in the heart, sadness, fear. Let it go on your exhale. On your exhale, letting go of intellectual or mental contraction, tightness in the mind. On your exhale, you can soften the mind, quiet the mind, open the mind, allowing the mind to become more expansive. In its expansiveness, it naturally becomes more radiant, more magnetic, and more electric. And as you release tension on this level of the physical body, the emotional body, and the mental body, you can begin to feel your energetic body release blocks of energy and move with ease, with freedom. Feeling your vibration, your energetic vibration quicken. And breathe into that energetic quickening, which is the beautiful springboard for curiosity and for connecting with your intuition. And then once more, a long, deep breath, a long, deep inhale, and a full, deep exhale, a full release. Now bringing to your mind's eye, located within your third eye, between the eyebrows and back in toward your pituitary gland, imagine a radiant point of light, like a little sun shining in the center of your mind. And sense that radiant light pulsating like a sun, filling your brain, your mind, your consciousness with light. Allow your whole headspace to fill with light. And sense that light expanding, filling your body, the fullness of your body and beyond your body into the space around and beyond your physical body. Allow that central sun within the mind to expand, to fill your entire room, your entire home with light. And simply recognize this light as a vibration of your internal wisdom, or what we know in the mystery school as your internal father. The active, the dynamic. And then bring your consciousness into the temple of your heart, into your heart center. And visualize there in your heart center an altar of love, or a warm embrace of your internal mother, the blessing of the feminine holding you in a nurturing, nourishing embrace. And feel your heartbeat. Hear your heart beating. Sensing the vibration of your internal yin, your internal feminine, your internal mother, source of your intuition. And as you hold this radiant light of your internal Father God in the mind, and you hold this compassionate, nourishing vibration of your internal mother love within the heart, bring your attention to the base of your spine, into the area of the sacral bone, of your sacrum. And sense here a vibration, a frequency of creative, potent, powerful energy. It's in this space that is said our kundalini, or our internal serpent, is coiled 3.5 times sleeping. And we can call upon this serpent to awaken, to uncoil, and to begin to lift from the sacrum, out of the coccyx, up through the sacrum, into the first vertebra, and vertebra by vertebra ascending up our spine. As we call that serpent awake, that serpent lifts as light or vibration or steam or creative power, and begins to fill each chalice or each vertebra with the elixir of long life, with the medicine of the gods, which is our creative, sexual, sacred energy. So feeling that sacred sexual energy rise vertebra by vertebra up the spine is the awakening of the kundalini, the ascension of our inner creative serpent. It brings vitality. It brings healing. It brings power. And as we draw that energy up, and you might visualize it as color or light, you might feel it as energy, you might sense its vibration. Allow that energy to connect and commune with your love at your heart center, with your wisdom at your third eye, and then to move beyond, up and out of the 7th chakra, up and out of the crown chakra, connecting with the source through our central sun. Your internal trinity, your wisdom, your love, and your creative power is moving up and through your spine, out through the crown of your head, into the deep universe, moving through our central sun, that which gives us light and warmth, that which gives life to the life, into the deep center of source of light. And now breathe one with that light. Atonement, or at one-ment, is to connect our inner light with the source of all light, and to breathe as one light, or to deepen into the universal pulse or the rhythm of creation. And to draw from that source of creation, that source of life, a deeper knowing, a deeper wisdom, a resonance with the frequency of pure unconditional love. A communion with the essence of sacred power, that which vitalizes the universe, that which animates life. Breathing deeply with the essence of Source. Receive the warmth, the love, the light, the beauty, the healing, the awakening, the connection with the divine. That is who you are already in your own essence. The essence which came from Source. The essence which will return to Source. And the essence that we can connect into Source or commune with Source moment by moment, hour by hour, day by day, month by month, year by year, life vision by life vision. And together as one sacred family, let's take 3 deep, loving breaths with the essence of the Source. All together, breathing in, inhale. Hold and pause your breath, holding that source of light, nourishing yourself. Exhale and expand in your own light, in your own love, in your own power. And again, a deep inhale, drawing in the source of life, holding that breath, holding that life, healing yourself, nourishing yourself. And then exhale and expand as that healing, nourished, vitalized being that you are. And one last breath, a deep inhale, breathing in the light, holding the light, becoming the light. Exhale, radiate the light. And wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, move your body, gently flutter your eyelids, bringing yourself back here into this space, to the company of one another. And this journey here through the waters, which is through our emotional life, our physical, emotional, mental, energetic life, back to Source, and then back again. We can take this journey at any moment in our day. And when we connect into Source and we receive the vibration, the frequency of Source, and then make choices, decisions, create from that vibration of Source, we will find that our life is just very naturally expanding in light, in positivity, in beauty, in love, in expressions of the divine moment by moment. As we align our mind, our intellect with the wisdom of the ages, with the Source, we begin to radiate as clear and as resplendent as the sun of our solar system. So this, you could say, is our calling, to take time to align our inner light as we did, and then connect that light with the wisdom, with the Source. And when we do that, we'll radiate as clear and as resplendent as the sun of our solar system. A beautiful artist friend that I know created this beautiful light box. I have another meditation that moves with this, but but that will be for another time, just because we don't have a lot of time left to us here tonight. Knowing that the cosmic sun shines through our own individual wisdom, we naturally rise in responsibility to our soul's purpose, which is our true life vision. So knowing that within us is this source of universal wisdom and love, our soul, the embodiment of that wisdom and love and that divine creative power, is trying desperately to use our personality, to use our body, our mind, our emotions, and our energy to carry out its vision, which is an extension of the universal cosmic plan of light. And each time we say thank you, each time we give a hug, each time we help someone in need, each time we create, like John and Missy have, a vision of a tool that helps humanity in some way, we are connecting to that greater plan, which is drawing us as one sacred family more and more toward the light. And this, if you would like, you can take a screenshot of this. This is a beautiful mantra that you can recite daily 3 times. To repeat it 3 times is really excellent. And it goes like this: Violet fire, thou love divine, blaze within this heart of mine. Thou art mercy forever true. Keep me always in tune with you. I am light, thou Christ in me. Set my mind forever free. Violet fire, forever shine deep within this mind of mine. God, who gives my daily bread, with violet fire fill my head, till thy radiance heaven-like makes my mind a mind of light. And then you would repeat that again, and then once more. And it's a beautiful dedication to moving from our animalistic instinct to our human intellect into the higher nature, our God and goddess nature of intuition, of resplendent light. So that's also a beautiful meditation daily. And finally, to come to be a simple student of the life within the mystery school, to practice the culture of the Father-Son within and without, to comprehend who we are in truth, children of the Son, children of our internal mother, this internal love, to immerse ourselves in the culture of the gods, which is creative, is to open our minds to receive the knowing of the divine plan. So, to know more of this divine plan, I want to hear with you. I invite anyone who would like to stay on for a few minutes. I'm happy to answer questions and read some of your challenges and speak to those. I also have some downloads. I'm going to put this into the chat for you. An excerpt from my writing from the Inca Transcripts, and also one of the lectures from my teacher, Willaroo, who I introduced you to earlier. Those are free to you. I'm going to give you a link if you'd like them. Just go to that link and then they can be emailed to you. And this is a quote that is taken from that. So if anyone has a takeaway from tonight, or a gratitude, or an action point that you would like to share as we close, I would love to do that. And then I'm going to move into some question and answer and speak to anything that you may have shared in the chat. So can I unmute everyone at the same time? I'll just ask all to unmute. And we'll just go around, a takeaway or gratitude or something you'd like to share, an action point, something like you'd like to take from tonight and apply to your own life moving forward. Vicky.
I like that meditation, the one that you said that we could take a photo of.
Yes. Good.
I'm going to include that in my meditative aspects during the day.
Beautiful.
I really like it.
Good. Thank you. I've been using that for probably 22 years. And I love it. I just love it. So I love that you love it. Esther.
The other, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Go ahead.
no, hang on. The other thing, I would like to hear more
Okay. Let's be in
and
touch.
see what other action plans there can be.
Let me do this. I'm going to put in the chat for all of you this link. If you go there, you'll be able to access the downloads, but also choose if you want to learn more, if you want to work with me, if you want to hear more, do more, just check off whatever, and then I'll have your email and we'll be in touch. I'm going to try to present something each month on Lifebook and go deeper into these mystery school teachings as they relate to the category for each month. So that is definitely one way to learn more, Vicky. And then
Thank you, and I've lost you.
You've lost me. Anybody else lose me?
No, I've lost me.
You've lost
on
you.
on the screen. I'm not there anymore.
I can see you.
Oh, good, because I can't see you. Yeah, that's all right. I don't know. Would you be able to put that link at the bottom of?
Yes, it's at the bottom of the chat. Can you get into your chat?
No.
All right, stay on, or you can can you get into your chat at all? Stay on and I can verbally give it to you at the end here.
Okay, thank you.
Esther.
Well, I found it fascinating how many parallels that all the different schools of thought have, the symbols and the meanings. And if you look at the Star of David with the pyramids that are kind of overlapping, but it's the same idea, right? Or Kabbalah or all that, except, I don't know, the cross, you can see parallels too, but it seems very poor compared to all the other outlines, like basic. I shouldn't say poor, basic, right?
Yeah.
To where there's nothing else around it, which is fascinating in a way.
Yeah.
So I'm just comparing. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's really the essence of where I wanted to be able to take you, because the mystery school takes us to that essence, that simplicity, but also to this knowing that it's textured, it's colorful, it's layered, it's sometimes complex. Different traditions have created real complexity out of the simplicity. And that was just an expression of creativity. That's just an expression of that culture, that impulse of that time. Nothing good or bad. Does it serve us now? It serves some people still.
I think it's real life. It's normal. It's there. It's the tendency is to diminish it more than anything else. And I think that's what I tried to say with the simpler you make it, or the more basic. Simplicity is good, but what I'm saying is the more you take away, the less people understand why life is the way it is, or the meaning of life.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, beautifully well said, beautifully said, beautifully said.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. It's very interesting.
You're welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. And for those of you who are interested in this synthesis and all of these religions and how they overlap, I put another link in here. You can go. It is a GoFundMe campaign, but I'm sending you there so that you can read more about the card deck that I'm creating based on these teachings, and read a little bit more about that. So if you're interested in more of this world of teachings, that will give you a little bit more as well. I have lots of resources to share with you. So that's one. Sharon.
Well, I find it's a little over my head right now, but if I keep at it, I'll start absorbing it. But I guess my mind is kind of going to a couple of people in my life who have talked about being at Machu Picchu, and now that I understand what Machu Picchu is about, then maybe I understand those people a bit better. One of them was going to be taking classes from a shaman or something. So
Yeah, beautiful. I can share with you. I can share at length with you this, but I'll share very briefly. When I first sat with Willaroo, with my teacher, I had been on a spiritual path already for a long time, and I'm of Lakota. I have a Lakota altar, and it's a whole longer story. Anyway, when I sat with him the very first time after my vision quest in Machu Picchu, 4 days and 4 nights on the Inca Trail, and longer story short, he came to sit with me then at the end of that vision quest, and he just taught for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And most of what he said went right over my head, right over my head. And yet I had a resonance that what he was speaking was truth. I didn't get it. I couldn't quite, but in time and continuing to work with him, I'm now, able to, with his blessing and encouragement, write his teachings that haven't been written before. So I just encourage you, just hang in there. If any bit of this feels like interesting, curious, think maybe I want to learn more, just learn more and let it unfold for you. And it will, like that lotus flower, it will just layer by layer reveal itself. It's a very different path to intellectual understanding than what we're used to sometimes. So
spirituality is a journey, right? It takes time and everyone does it differently.
Absolutely.
Right? So it depends. You don't just get it. I would say it's dangerous if you just get it, because then you're probably in a bad spot in a sect or something where they brainwash you.
Yeah.
Right.
Always best to experiment and corroborate and see where those truths overlap. And then you will find truth in the essence of those overlapping bits of wisdom. So beautiful.
It took me a long time to understand a lot of concepts, or a lot of, it's a development, I think.
It is.
It's not just there. So you have to be patient, I would say. Sorry for interrupting, but I'm just saying.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's
not.
two simultaneous things that are happening, which is the awakening of consciousness and also the evolution of our consciousness. And so that's why the development takes the time that it does. Yeah, and we'll never be at the same point we are right now. You're not the same point you were just 1 hour ago before you sat in this, so as you hear and apply, never in the same place, ever evolving. Yeah, beautiful. Debbie.
I missed a part because I had to go in between, so I'm not quite sure what I missed there. But I know that I've been feeling ever since Lifebook, and it's been the past 2 years. I've been on a spiritual journey for a while too, but the past couple of years, I feel things have been coming together. And when I feel my callings and I go to things, there's always something like that's there, and I know that I'm following the right path, or what I'm supposed to, whatever it leads to. And I've been leaving that open, and I enjoy it. And this, like the fact of Machu Picchu and me planning it, and I was like, it's time. And then I saw this thing pop up, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna look at that. And then hearing about it, it just confirms the path that I'm on, and the opening I find that I have now, where I say yes to what feels right, and it always has something in it for me. I find there's, even if it's a small chunk, it's something that goes forward. So this this was the same. I felt instantly like I was in the right place again. But I listened to the sacred waters that you did, both of them too, and they felt I feel well, I've been blessing my water and drinking my water and doing my lemon water every morning since. So yeah, this was just another. So I'll be at all your monthly or whatever you're doing along the way. I'm excited. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome. Thank you, Debbie. And thank you for listening to your intuition and being in touch and following it. And it's a beautiful expression and inspiration for everyone to hear you speak to that. So thank you for sharing. And finally, Yvonne and JGB, I know that you're not coming on camera, but if you'd like to just drop a little something in the chat, a takeaway, a gratitude, or an action step while we're hearing from Yvonne.
Hi. Hi. Sorry, I had my camera off because I was driving home. I think that since I was little, I'm 55 now, but like little, maybe before school, I always felt misfitted. I always felt I didn't belong. And only when a crisis happened, maybe 10 years ago, did I even consider spirituality, because it's not something I grew up with at all, like zero. And it's completely changed the way I think about everything. And everything, the more I learn, the more everything resonates. And I think that, like the people here that have talked about already, and it's just, the feeling is just like no other. And I feel I'm just getting started. So the reason I had come to this one, I actually have not heard of mystery schools, but was because your water one was so amazing. So it's like, well, this one's going to be just as amazing. And it is. There's just like, I'll never look at water the same. It's impossible. And that's what I'm learning. The more I know, the more you can't not know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so thanks for doing this. I appreciate it so much. And I know my issue is my family that doesn't have any spirituality. And it's interesting because some of them have climbed Machu Picchu, but I think it was just on their bucket list and they just go off to do their bucket list. But it's how you were saying, for some people, it's a vacation. And for other people, it is just a completely different experience. And for them, it was a vacation, and they loved it. But yeah. I think it's interesting that depending on where we are in life, we just we're not even in radar with the energy that Machu Picchu is radiating out. And one day they might be like, oh, maybe that's why I felt like that. But it's just really interesting seeing the difference in family who have visited these places, who got absolutely no spiritual connection with it and still loved it. And I think it's interesting to see if one day they will realize truly why. But this has been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And my guess is they will, because even as you speak of their love of it, whenever we awaken our love, there's an awakening. Love is spirit. Wisdom is spirit. Creativity of any kind is God working through us. God is a creative life force. And so they may not intellectually know why they're there, but their spirit, their soul took them there for a reason, to touch or tap into a frequency that they may not identify as spiritual, but I have no doubt that it awakened in them something that they needed to complement this journey they're on in this particular lifetime.
Oh yeah. But it's just interesting because I'll flat out say, oh, that's a bunch of, woo-woo.
Of course.
but it's like that. There's no such thing as coincidence. And so it might have just been a little step towards, it's just woo, not woo-woo.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, beautiful. And welcome to your journey. Sometimes by crisis, we come to the path, and I'm glad it's brought you, because your life will expand in ways that it couldn't have without it. So.
Oh, it has. And I mean, that was like 10 years ago, and it's still, well, maybe 7, 8 years ago, but it's still just amazing. Every day is something new.
Good for you. Beautiful. Really good. Good. Thank you. JGB. I'm sorry, Dianne, I went out. for more than 1 hour, so I missed it. I'm going to listen to the recording. Great. So I will get a recording posted if you want to listen again, if you stepped out, if you want to, go back and hear what you missed, or any part of any of that. I will get that up in the coming days. Adele said, I'm very grateful for tonight. Thank you, Diana, for sharing. You're so welcome. She needed to sign off. And I too like that light meditation. So good. I hope she took a picture of that as well. Jude had to also go. I know I went over tonight. So sorry, everyone. But wow, there's just so much to share. 1 hour was just not going to, I wasn't going to get it in. Okay. Jude said I had, let's see, the challenges I have, Yvonne said I have my family, parents and siblings have very different beliefs. Yeah, you were just talking about that. And then Jude responded, I had that for so long, Sharon. I'm only just learning how to get past it. And I have so much to catch up on and not enough time. I'm playing catch up for several decades. That was to Sharon. I recently found out that I have a really big energy block, a heart wall. Yes. Vicky's challenge was motivation. Jude, oof, I second that. To Adele, he said, not having enough time to do what I want to accomplish. Amen. We're all feeling that, aren't we? Because we're inspired, curious beings of light. So all of these challenges, what I'll wrap up with in any and all of those challenges, what I've come to know in more than 3 decades of being quite dedicated to my spiritual path, is that there's a spiritual solution to every challenge. There's a spiritual solution to every challenge. So next month, I'm actually going to share with you the one technique that I know, if you had just one technique that would totally transform not only your life, but this entire planet. I was talking about awakening the consciousness of this planet. It's this one. And I'm going to share that. I'm going to share that next month. And it is one of the solutions to all of these challenges that we all have, that we all share in common. And so I'll be very excited to share that with you next month. Know that those challenges are malleable and you can transform them. And we'll be working on that next month. So with that, let's just close with a moment of saying, oh, this here, you saw this. This is the 3 steps. You'll see this often. You'll see my teacher in one of the pictures I showed earlier, this symbol of the hand, or this mudra, if you will, shows the 3 steps. It's the mystery school, but you'll also see it in iconography from Krishna to Jesus. Throughout cultures, you'll see depictions of the great masters holding their hand or their fingers like this. And it's a sign of the mystery school. It's alluding to these 3 steps or these 3 keys. So with that, I'll say Wiragocha, which is also Namaste, which is also Amen, which is also I love you and thank you for coming. And thank you, Great Spirit, Great Mystery, for this sacred time together here as one spiritual, sacred family of love and light. I wish you the very best on your journey until I see you again. And feel free to reach out to me, be in touch, email me if you have any questions, anything that's burning on your heart you'd really like to know. I'd be happy to answer. So you can also catch me in the life book too by message. Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. See you next month.
See you
Bye,
next.
everyone.
Bye.